What's up? What's up, man? Polo Sports Talk and Entertainment here again with another one. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not a member, and also hit the notifications so that you're able to get each and every one of my videos. Okay, now the Knicks are going to go ahead and move on without Kemba Walker. Okay, uh, they're looking to trade Kemba Walker after being dropped from the rotation. Before I get this video started, I got to give a shout out to Empire Sports Media. Um, that's where I got this info from. And it says the New York Knicks head coach Tom Thibodeau elected to drop the veteran point guard Kemba Walker from the rotation over the weekend. We already know that. Um, he also indicated that Alex Burks would be the remaining point guard moving forward. Now, this right here is it's a very tough situation, okay? And I'm gonna explain to you in just a minute the reasons why. Now, this is what Tom Thibodeau had to say. He said, "Look, quote, it's a tough decision to make, but you always have to do what you think is best for the team. This is the best situation for the team, okay? Now, there have been several sources that believe that the Knicks uh, will try to get for as much as they can from concerning Kemba Walker. Uh, but we don't know how his value is going to be on the trade market. And that's the question that I have for a lot of people right now, man. Is who is going to want Kemba Walker right now? Now, for those of you that are Lakers fans and already want to jump on this and think that he's gonna go to the Lakers and all this other stuff. Cut the cap out, okay, please. That's some capping that shit right there, okay. For one, you're getting a guy who is a shell of himself, who's been riddled with injuries, his injury history, and he hasn't been the same ever since he left uh, Charlotte. Okay, we do have to call it what it is. Right? So him going to the Lakers right there, and then that'll just be more fuel to the fire in terms of what they're experiencing. I mean, you got your head superstar right now in LeBron that's having these little knick-knack injuries. I've already explained that before, but it's highly unlikely, man, that a lot of teams are going to be reaching and grabbing for him in terms of him being that main guy or any of that. And me myself personally, I know there's been some other guys that have said it. This might be the beginning of the end for Kemba Walker. Now I did say yesterday I can't be hypocritical and say that I think it's over for him, but it's the beginning to a slow ending for Kemba Walker, unless of course he has some dramatic change in terms of his body and becomes that guy, that year 1 through 5 Kemba Walker that he was in Charlotte. I just but I don't see that happening, you know. Now, to put things in its proper perspective, you know what I'm saying, because we can't just be just always going on the eye test and always relying on what we see, or even going by what people say all the time. Let's just take a look at Kemba Walker's stats, okay? Now, when Kemba Walker initially, came in Charlotte, you know what I'm saying? He was always, between a 17 to 20 point scorer, and then of course he jumped up to almost 25, nearly 26 points a game when he was with Charlotte from 2011 all the way up until 2018, and ended up going to Boston. You know, Kemba Walker, man, his numbers did drop. He went from being a 19, 20 point scorer to just 11 points per game, and of course that's that's expected, especially when you have scorers on your team like a R.J. Barrett, like a Zach Randolph. You know what I'm saying, and all these other guys that are going to get the ball. You know, um, but you know, I think that the amount of minutes that he's playing, because he was logging, he was around that 35, 36, minutes per game and stuff. He didn't play the same amount of minutes while he was in Boston. Of course, he was hurt in the playoffs with Boston, even though he was putting up 19.3 points a game, but it wasn't impactful. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't impactful as much as it was probably like in Charlotte. Even though they weren't that more successful out there either. So see, what I'm saying is that if you look at the numbers and how they've dropped, you know what I'm saying? That's a big drop, going from 19.3 points per game, and then your minutes drop too, because he was only playing 24 minutes a game. You know, and some people were expecting Kemba Walker to come out there and automatically just be killing. Like for instance, he was 1 of 7 from the field against Milwaukee. He only played 18 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Only had 2 points. You know, he did okay against Charlotte. And he ended up scoring 26. But then he's always been, in that single digit range, only playing 21 minutes, 2 of 7, 2 of 7 with against Orlando, which he should be killing Orlando. He was 3 of 7 against the Houston Rockets, only scoring 9 points. He was 3 of 9 against Chicago, only scoring 7 points. Against the Lakers, only had 6 points, 2 of 6. He was 5 of 11, against Phoenix, and he had 17 points. But as I said before, it's not really that impactful. And then of course, when he played against us, he was 3 of 9, 8 points. So they're looking for more consistency out of a guy like Kemba Walker, who's been known to come on and pour it in. And listen, like with a player like Ben Simmons, and I use that comparison. I don't feel bad for him. I feel bad for Kemba Walker. Let me say that. I feel bad for him. You said trade Kemba to the Walker. Well, that's not well. Listen, I they're not gonna do that. They wouldn't do that. Now, Slinky, if you do that, you're pretty much getting almost the same thing. They're going through this similar situation. They're looking for a number one that could fill that void, and that's what they thought Kimber Walker was. He was starting. He was starting at a point, and listen, if you get John Wall, you got to talk about the injury history. Yeah, I know John Wall. You know what I'm saying, he could still be pretty productive, but then he still got to learn a new system. He got to get familiarized with the player. What uh, Tim Tom, what Thibodeau wants, and the biggest thing is too, he's gonna have to commit to defense, and Thibodeau, he's all about defense, and that's one of the things that Kemba Walker was not efficient at. His efficiency on defense, it was really being a detriment more than an asset. He was becoming a liability. You know what I'm saying, on the defensive end. And Coach Thibodeau is looking for players that are going to play both ends of the floor. But now collectively, they still need to come together and play. It can't just be all on one person, but it it shows that when Kimba's on the floor or whatever, it's not really impactful. Especially defensively. So that's what John Wall is going to have to bring to the table, and I don't think that it's going to be a good fit. And then you getting even worse. Houston's going to get even worse if they get a guy like Kemba Walker, because then he's already, his injury history. He don't move the same. He's not quite doing some of the things that he used to do, unless of course you get him on there for veteranship. You know what I'm saying? And Houston's trying to turn things around. Houston's trying to turn things around. Now, in you know, I was thinking like maybe a place would be where he could just probably just get some solid minutes, back up every now and then, and it's not really gonna hurt the team as much. And I know some people might think I'm crazy for saying this. It would be a team such as maybe put them in a winning like about maybe like a let me know that you say Kimba and Wall play the same. I think I think and salute to you, be more. I think that Wall plays with a little bit more flair. Wall, I'm talking about. Let's look at it. Let's look at it like um, before the pre-injury, before both of them. Okay, Wall was more of an exciting, get up and down, athletic, of course, faster. You know what I'm saying? Because he was one of the fastest. At one time, he was the fastest player in the NBA, and I think he eclipsed that title once Monte Ellis left. But Wall was like, able to get up and down the floor, and and people don't give Wall this credit either. He was able to find you. He would get up. Don't get me wrong, he'll take it coast to coast or whatever, but he likes to push the ball. That was his. A lot of people talk about how Westbrook pushed the ball and Derrick Rose pushed the ball. No, John Wall was pushing the ball during that time too as well. But I think that he got a little ahead of himself because he was confident and he got a little bit cocky and he said that I'm the best point guard in the league. But when to call yourself the best point guard in the league, people are going to hold you to that type of standard. And Kemba Walker, he was more settled in terms of his playing style. But he end games a lot better than what John Wall did. He was a closer. He was a closer. That's what Kimba Walker's calling card was. But I think him going to like a place like Chicago, um, where he can mentor a guy like Alonzo Ball or like some of these other guys. And I know he hasn't been had that much success in the postseason or anything like that, but he could still, when Kimba was playing. Let's not sit up here and act like Kimba Walker was just trash or something like that, y'all. Now He was that main guy. He was an all-star, and he was, if you want to talk about, superstardom, he was he was on that level, up until the injuries, you know. So he can, if you want to talk about a point guard, Lonzo Ball could pick his brain. There, he might be a good fit. I'm not gonna say like Phoenix, and not gonna say Golden State, because the reason why is because with Phoenix and Golden State, they're looking to run. They're looking to run up and fly up and down the court. Yeah, be more. But I can understand why you did say that, though. I can understand that. Listen, the thing that used to drive me nuts about a player like John Wall, because for those of y'all that don't know, I enjoyed watching both of these guys, uh, John Wall and Kemba Walker. But the difference that separated them two is that John Wall did not know how to slow it down. He did not know how to slow it down, and he couldn't get impactful points, especially like in the clutch and when it came to ending games and things of that nature. He wasn't that guy that you could really rely on. You know what I'm saying? It would be at times, but and that's what separated him and a guy like Kimber. With Kimber, oh, you could depend on him. I mean, you saw it in UConn. Kimber would get his buckets. He could really score, and you could depend on Kimber. But he just was not in a great situation. And like I said, I had to read. I don't know who it was. I want to say it was Andover Sandlot. I talked about this in the previous video, y'all. I got to give him credit because they did run him to the ground while he was in Charlotte. They did run him to the ground. They ran him to the ground, and then Jordan took a lot of heat, and it just wasn't. You know, they had to move on from him, and he wanted to go in a different direction, and now you see what's happening. Oh, I appreciate it, man. I'm not gonna say I'm at the highest level or anything like that, but I mean, I did play. My favorite sport, is basketball. For one, I played it, but also it's just something about it that I do love. But I love other sports as well. You know what I'm saying? But I got to give respect to everybody else. There's a lot of other people, on this YouTube, out in the world, whatever platform. There's a lot of other people that know a lot more things to me. But I try to do what I know. You know what I'm saying? And I don't try to get up here. Listen, if when it comes to like debating and all this, oh yeah, man, I got the need to cook a motherfucker and all this other bullshit, man. Look, you could have that shit. I mean, look, if you feel like, oh yeah, you know more than me, you got more knowledge than me or something like that, I'll come out and I'll admit it. I'm not ashamed to be wrong. I'm not ashamed to let anybody know, what I'm saying, that they know more than me or anything like that, because that's how you grow as a person. If somebody knows more than you and they've had more experiences, or they probably done something, a lot longer or a lot better than you, then you should be the one that should be willing to be a student. And me myself, I'm a student of anything, you know. I'm a student of anything, and I like to learn, and I like to gain knowledge or whatever. There might be some subjects that I might not know, that I might not talk about as frequently, but I just try to get my perspective on it. to the best of my abilities, So, but I appreciate it, be more. Man. That's respect, you know what I'm saying. And all my other LDBC brothers, man, that's doing their thing out there too. You know what I'm saying? They got a lot of well-rounded knowledge in various different sports too as well. So, you know what I'm saying. I don't try to take all the credit for everything. But you got guys out here that think they know every single thing. You know what I'm saying? Or they always got to be right. I I don't mind. And listen, that's another thing. People will disagree with you and they take it personal. If you disagree with me, I'm not going to take it personal. And I think that's what makes you, more well rounded. But see, a lot of people they take a disagreement so personal to the point where it's a driving force of them actually hating. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that you have to come to grips with the Most High. You know what I'm saying? I can't control how a person feels. I might not like I might not like a particular team or something like that. I might not like a particular player, but I'm not going to sit here and get my feelings involved and say, you know what, I'm not going to talk about that player or anything like that on this channel. I'm not going to do that. So but I don't think that Kemba Walker has many options right now. The worst thing that I would hate for him to, because the reason why I want Kemba to succeed is because this guy's a professional. He's a professional guy. He's You don't hear that much drama about him. You um you don't hear about him getting into it with teammates. You hear how hard this guy works because I've watched him. I think I forget who it was he was working with. I think he was working with Ben Gordon. I don't know if y'all remember who Ben Gordon was, but Ben Gordon, man, he used to play in the NBA. They kind of had like a similar style or whatnot. That's when Ben Gordon used to play for. He used to play for Chicago. I think they were working out together or whatever. But Kemba Walker man. He's a hard worker. And I'm hoping that he finds a place. You don't hear. I've never heard anything bad about Kemba Walker. Salute to you, Hitman X. Y'all go subscribe to the boy, Hitman X. LDBC brother, always coming with that logic, coming with that flame, and you'll get flames if you don't come with your game. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Hitman X, and he is a Phoenix Suns fan, which I'm gonna dive into. Um, yeah, they've already, they're shopping for him right now. They're shopping for him, and let's see, they're looking to trade him. And his, this is coming from Empire Sports Media. Hey man, they're talking about his trade market and his production is at an all-time low. So it's gonna make they're trying to move him. They're trying to move him before the deadline in February. This is coming from Sherrod Blakely, a Bleacher Report, man. Empire State Media. Yeah, man. Of course, it man. Man, man. I fuck with all my guys, man. Shit, everybody that done held this channel down, even the ones that don't even come through like that no more, man. I still got love for them. You know what I'm saying? It's always love. I I I be tripping out though because listen, for those of you, they probably already know Hitman, but they already know how like we started like, you know what I'm saying, connecting within the LDBC and stuff. But Hitman and cooked like 4 or 5 motherfuckers on at once on the panel, and that's the honest to God truth. They was coming at him with everything that they could, literally, and he stayed calm through all the yelling, all the profanity, all the spitting into the phone or whatever they was on, all the hollering and screaming and stuff like that. He still remained calm and was telling each and every one of them, and was just flaming them in a calm composed way. You know, it didn't need to do no yelling, didn't need to do no screaming and none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Nah, well, it ain't always like that. Be more. Nah, it ain't like. But I try to tone it down because look, we got to understand what people are saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the point of you can sit up here and yell at a motherfucker all day, and I could be like, like let's say me and Hitman, we getting into a debate and shit like that. But all I'm saying is, oh man, fuck you, da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? Fuck you, da 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 da. Talk about the nigga and shit like that. But there ain't nothing we haven't accomplished what we set out to do, which is have a conversation or a discussion between two men trying to get their points across to see which one is better. You can't judge, but of course, naturally, a motherfucker, that's sitting there cursing your ass out and y'all going back and forth and shit like that, then they gonna be like, oh yeah, well such and such cooked that motherfucker or something like that. But that's not really doing that. And if you actually go and you go, yeah, if you go and you actually go debate somebody, or you go on a panel, or you go there, I don't think any of y'all have ever really, not y'all on the panel, but anybody that probably listening to the video that always are not using logic and shit. I don't think that anybody has ever been in an actual debate before. You know what I'm saying? I don't. When you debate, you have an actual moderator. You have your selected time. You have your you even in some cases you have a lot of judges. Does in some cases, and then of course you have the onlookers and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And it's structured. And some of y'all don't know how to do that. But naturally, if you go like to a barbershop, even if you go into a barbershop, you know what I'm saying, and go chop it up and go get your hair cut and shit, there might be two guys getting into it, about a particular subject or something, right? And then another motherfucker, he gonna cut in and he's gonna give his perspective. You know, I can guarantee you, even in the hood, you know what I'm saying? That guy that's getting his hair cut, that cuts in and argues. Guess what? Those two guys that are talking and going at each other and stuff like that, they gonna shut up and they gonna let that other guy speak, and then the other one's gonna talk. Then guess what? Another motherfucker might cut in, and guess what? All of them might be like, they might disagree. They might something like that. But then the other one's like, listen, wait a minute, let me tell you why. Da 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 da. Then the other one might come in and say, you know what I'm saying? But you're not gonna be able to do that with 4 or 5 different motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying? And it's gonna be predicated on feeling. It's gonna be predicated on feelings, you know what I'm saying? Because another guy might not like you. Another guy might not like the way that you talk. They might not even like the fact that you like another player or whatever. So then they gonna go at you. So really, if you take all of that out of how you feeling, you take all them feelings out of there and stuff like that, you just really listen to both sides of the argument, you'll have a candid understanding in what each guy is saying. And a lot of people don't really know how to do that sort of thing. You might not even like that person. That guy, you probably can't stand him. But you have to be able to be like, you know what, man, that guy, he's really hitting on some facts. But some people don't know how to. They don't know how to do that sort of thing. So y'all guys tell me what you think, man. I thank everybody for pulling up, man. Like this video, share it, subscribe, and like I said, man, we'll see what happens with Kemba, man. Hopefully he gets landed in a great situation, man. Because I sure don't want him to be just bounced out of the league like that, man. That would be sad. That would be a sad ending to a great beginning, man. For a man that has gave blood, sweat, and tears to an organization for a while, and then to be just bounced around the league like that. So y'all tell me what you think. Leave your comments, man. Like this video, share, subscribe, hit the notification. It's Polo Sports Talking Entertainment, man. I'll get at y'all later.